Hello guys, just gonna go ahead, put in the poll, put in the comments. Let's see. As of now, we're able to see Nvidia up about a good amount of percent, right? So let's see. Let's see how this is going. We just drop in and try seeing if I can figure a few things out. We're gonna keep this as much as we can. It's a big day, so uh, let's see. So let's see. I'm just gonna go ahead. Let me see if I can do this. I'll keep this a little more interactive than usual, not just a scenario where we keep going back and forth on a few things. So go ahead, bring in your questions. That should be fun as well. Just gonna go ahead. Let me see if I can do this. You guys should eventually get in a text notification or a notification once it's live. So, yeah. So what do we have here now? Let's go ahead, put in the pinned comment so everybody's on the same page. Pretty much do this every day at the same time, so nothing to really figure out. Yeah, let's go. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so let me also drop in and try seeing if I can get. Maybe let me try seeing how does that happen. Yeah, there you go. That kind of looks better. I think that's a better deal. Okay, let's see. Let me actually see. I'm not sure if a lot of people would. You think we'll have a 10% up day on Nvidia? That's going to be fascinating to see. So, let's see. Let's make it as. This will be more fun. Will Nvidia stock to a 10% gain? Right, 10% higher. Right. Let's keep it simple this time. Let's just say yes or no. This will be more fun. Well, there you go. You've got your poll as well going now. So as of now, what I can see is that Nvidia's been pretty much banging it out of the park. I think we have the post-market moves that have closed up about 5% on in the after hours. It's on Robinhood. We're going to be able to see the amount of price changes that are happening. So keep that in mind as well. because you're going to have that in the overnight markets going through. Another thing to keep in mind is I don't know how strong. One of the things that has been coming out is about the Trump tariffs. A federal court just came in and pretty much disbanded the tariffs. They've just said the global tariffs were deemed illegal and blocked by the US Trade Court. I'm not sure. I don't know how much of this works out, considering that he is the president also. So I'm not sure how a lot of this is going to play out. But keep that in mind. I mean, we come here every day. So, I mean, this is more like a scenario where we're trying to see, make sure to tell everybody that the AI trade is still here. It's not stopped. And we've been saying that since a while. If you go back in a few of your videos also, we've been saying this. Doesn't look like anything where Nvidia is stopping. I mean, considering the fact that they did come out and say that they're going to have an $8 billion hit to the Chinese sales, and they were still able to meet estimates, go higher, keep breaking up, keep going higher, right? That itself talks about how strong Nvidia is as a company. So I don't know how people would tell me that the AI story is over, but this isn't over for sure. This one's just beginning. To a large extent, it is beginning. If you have a time frame of 6 months, yeah, maybe it's not beginning for you or ending soon for you, because you're too short term. If you have a mindset of 3, 5, 6 years, 7 years, Nvidia might just be the next $10 trillion company. No reason for that not happening, right? And I think the next big story in AI is going to be sovereign AI. So drop in your questions if you have any related to Nvidia or the market in general or anything that you want to talk about. We're just going to go over a few things when it comes to Nvidia's earnings, and then you guys we'll pick it up from there. So this is episode 12. We're going to break down Nvidia to a large extent on this show. I'm going to be talking about my views on Nvidia and what the growth looks like. And then we can go in ahead and get into a few questions and see what's currently happening as well. If you guys are able to hear me clearly, see the area clearly, let me know. I'm just going to begin my process of breaking down. Jason, nice to see you back again. Boring day, I swear, but I like this after hour market reaction. Oh, absolutely. And I think to a certain extent, what you're also seeing is what I just alluded to is a fact that just this headline that I saw about 8 minutes back on Bloomberg, it clearly says President Donald Trump's global tariffs were deemed illegal and blocked by the US Trade Court. I'm not sure how much of that sticks, how much of that is actually, that's going to play a part. But you know what? I think in today's day and age, and pretty much every time that I've seen in markets, if you are able to take out some amount of uncertainty, you will see stocks rally, right? That is something to keep in mind. You will see that happen, right? And let's be honest, right? I mean, yesterday when I was doing the live as well, I was talking about this. I was like, you know what? Nvidia came out earlier and said, hey, we're taking a $8 billion hit. And it's from the China tariffs. We're not going to be able to sell to China. We're not going to be able to do 1,000 other things that they're thinking of doing. Be that as it may, I mean, someone's buying as much as China is not buying. So they're having their cake pretty well. They're making sure that they've done everything that they can to keep growing those numbers, right? I mean, I do know that their margins dropped to 60%, but a lot of people also have to keep in mind that if you did not have these China issues, they would still be at 71, 75%. You're looking at a $3.5 trillion company that may be going on to $5 trillion eventually. Why on earth would they be having at a 70% margin people crying foul? And you know what? Here's the story. Think of it this way. What if the China and US trade deal does happen before July 9th? What if something happens to semiconductor chips in that? You really think Nvidia is just going to be at 150? It's going to bloody fly, right? And you're seeing it part 6% of the S&P 500, right? So it's going to keep going higher because a lot of people have still a lot of doubts on what's going to happen. So if you can take the uncertainty away, you will see these prices go a lot higher. You will see the stock market go higher. You will see all-time highs coming in. And we'll still be live trying to tell you that maybe we're going higher. And a lot of people would still be telling us, as well as on news channels, that there's a recession incoming, there's all of that incoming, right? I mean, I hear that news pretty much every day now. It's that kind of a story now. Let me just get to Jason again. Rifik says, Rifik, okay, hi Rifik, how's it going? Anyways, Jason, I swear around 12 to 1 p.m. today, I had tons of negative news notifications, list of the slight pullback, and now Nvidia carrying this. I know, right? I mean, see, maybe someone wanted to position themselves pretty well, right? Go in with a banger. I still do think we might see a 6-7% move on Nvidia and higher. That's going to take the Nasdaq somewhere around 21,700, 21,800. You might even see some intraday pullback because sometimes these kind of things just it could go up 10%, come back down to 7%, 6%. That's just it's part of the game, right? I mean, Jason, you know it too. Right? A few percentage up and down on a huge market move is not really too much to worry about. Keep that in mind, and I mean, trade within your parameters of risk. I mean, that's too pretty much right. Let me just go over a few of these numbers for everyone here. Anyone that's not been through, Nvidia announces their financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2026. Keep in mind, guys, this is the first quarter where the Chinese tariff effects come in. The write down that Nvidia takes for the 8 billion. Remember, everyone's worried about what's going to happen to their chips, as well as the ramp up of Blackwell, which is their best chip in town. Revenue comes at 44.1 billion, up 12% from Q4. Quarter on quarter, the revenue is up 12%. Year on year, which is previous year to this year, it's up 69%. Data center revenue, right, of 39.1 billion is up 10% from Q4 and up 73% from a year ago. So, guys, I mean, you know what? Is 73 better than 72, 71? Yeah, fair enough, but those numbers are staggering. Okay, let's go over a few things. On April 9th, Nvidia was informed by the US government that a license is required to export of its H20 products into the China market. As a result of these new requirements, Nvidia incurred a 4.5 billion charge associated with H20 excess inventory. Sale of H20 products were 4.6 billion for the first quarter. Nvidia was unable to ship an additional 2.5 billion of H20 chips. Right? Okay. This is important. The GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins, right? How much do these guys make on a chip? Was 60.5% and 61%. If you exclude the 4.5 billion charge that these guys are having to deal with because of this new license that they need to sell in China, their first quarter non-GAAP gross margins would have been 71.3%, right? So, trust me, their drop is literally, I mean, if I logically think about it, a year back their gross margins were 78.4. Last quarter they were 73.0. So you're seeing that reduce. This quarter they did drop to 60.5. Excluding the charge, they would have been at 71.3. So that's a difference of 1.7%. Right? 73% down to 71.8, 71.3. That's about 1.7%. That's not too much. 1.7% on a total revenue of 44 billion. These guys can. What happens in a scenario where they even flatten out their margins? Because a lot of people are believing that the margins are going to keep falling, right? What happens when they are able to flatten it out? That's going to be a story when the stock goes there. That'll be a $200 stock when that happens. Because everyone's talking about a margin compression, margin fall, all of that happening. What happens in a scenario where the margin starts ticking up and prices start staying steady? Because this guy is going to have a lot of countries. He's already having the UAE, the Saudis, the Qataris. They're all trying to build AI data centers, right? I think every trip that Trump's going to be making next, he's just going to sign deals for AI data centers because that's the talk of town. That's the gold mine at this moment. So everyone pretty much wants that, right? Let me just go over a few more things if there is any. One of the fascinating things was their gaming division, which has now been picking up. It's too small. It's maybe 10% of their book. But you know what? It all counts, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it all counts. When I just look at their first quarter gaming revenue was a record 3.8 billion. It's up 48% from the previous quarter and up 42%. You think of it. If you're selling $100 worth of a product as of last quarter, which ended in December, in the current quarter, which ended in March, now you're selling $148 of that product. Are you thinking of that company as slowing down if it's growing 48% from the previous quarter and 42% from a year ago? So here's another story. I don't look at gaming revenue just for the fact of trying to see whether Nvidia can grow its gaming revenue more than its data center revenue. That's not the talk of town. The important part is gaming revenue has a direct correlation with people's spending power. It has a direct correlation with what the amount kids, elders, and everybody that plays games, including me, spend on buying new games, playing better games, buying consoles. The Nintendo Switch 2 that's coming out, a lot of people are looking forward to it and are going to buy it. Who's providing those chips? Nvidia, right? So at the end of the day, this game is being played by Nvidia. So not really sure how people think about this, but I don't see a scenario where you're looking at personal spending reducing while people spending more on games, right? I don't see that. I don't see a recession happening when people are like, oh, you know what? I'm not sure if I can go out to eat, but I'm going to be spending $150 or $100 on buying myself PS5 games or Xbox games. So keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see. Announced the Nintendo Switch 2 is powered by an Nvidia processor, delivered up to 4K gaming. So how many people are looking forward to a 4K? Not a 4K, sorry. Are looking forward to the Nintendo Switch. A lot of that money is also going to come in and pour into Nvidia, right? So few more things, man. I mean, if you look at it, I'm not really sure what, if there was even a bad thing in this number. I mean, people are going to still expect 100% increase quarter on quarter, 100% year on year, all of that. But I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. But some stupid fly that's trying to come in here. Anyways, so keep that in mind because it's the way it is at this moment. Let me try seeing if I can shift. I don't want the stupid thing to bite me. But yeah. So that being said, I mean, just think of it in a way where you're like, it's not something to really get worried about, but it's something to keep in mind because eventually you are going to start seeing a lot of Nvidia chips that will keep being sold. They'll keep being produced. Things are going to keep happening. It's a matter of time before you're actually able to, see something like an Nvidia that just stops working for you. So don't actually go ahead and worry so much about, oh, is Nvidia going to cause the market to crash and all of that. Everyone's thinking about it. I mean, just news for you, Nvidia's up more than 5%, right? The Nasdaq's at 21,600, 21,700. So, and you're going higher and higher. You're not stopping. So, that's just surely something to keep in mind. Let me just see if I can put this in somewhere. Yeah, there you go. This seems better. No stupid insects biting me. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Guys, have any questions or anything, go ahead, shoot it at me. I'm just going to read a few of those Nvidia pointers. I'm going to give you some of my takes on it. Just a lot to go over when it comes to Nvidia. But in the grand scheme of things, they've been so good at what they do that you don't really have to complain about a lot of things or have anything. Like, I can't find a single thing this quarter that's been a decision for them that's not worked in their favor. Anyways, all of you just go ahead, subscribe, as well as put in some of the thoughts on what Nvidia did or on the market in general, and let's go over a few things. One of the things that I did want to see was their self-driving car business, which is, what I've been hearing about it is that it's been doing pretty well. One of the other things that I saw the other day was, I think last night itself, I was looking at the news and Tesla's had its first car being used for its self-driverless in Austin. It's been doing its rounds, and I think in early June is when it's going to begin. Imagine the impact that would have to a stock like Uber. So that's something that I would keep in mind as well, because I'm not really sure. Like, Uber's been going up for a bit because of the concept that, you know what, they're going to need a lot of these uh, self-driving companies to get the demand and aggregate all of those together. Maybe Tesla is pushing through, considering that he's able to now sleep in his office and continue to do a lot of work there 24/7. So yeah, that's it. Let me just go ahead. Let me see what Jason's question is. Do you have levels for Nvidia for next week? If any, do you see 150? So I did look at the stock yesterday, and I was a bit bullish. My best case scenario for Nvidia is, let me just get the chart up. So you know what, it'll be a lot simpler for me to explain it to you. I was looking at 140 being taken out. I'm not sure where it is at current. It's at 144, 141.34. That's pretty much where I was looking at it in after hours. I think if we can take 144 out, we should be heading towards the 150 levels. I still see a lot of people on news channels still being like worried for Nvidia, because you know what, it's been a few quarters and they keep saying that, oh, this is from where it's going to turn lower, this is now it's going to turn lower, now it's going to go lower, and I'm like, I'm not really sure that these guys are really saying anything that's, you know, kind of making me bullish. Sorry, bearish when it comes to these guys, but I'm still a bull when it comes to all of these stocks. Don't see any reason whatsoever, right, for Nvidia to not see its all-time highs. I'm not sure about next week, Jason, just to get back to your question. Not sure about next week or anything coming through so soon for Nvidia. Maybe a few weeks. If I were you, I would look at something around the June end. I think by June end, maybe 27th or 20th. There's a weekly call that expires on the 27th, and there's I think a monthly call that expires on June 20th. I'm not really sure. You can go ahead and look at those. But maybe, you know what, I think 150 should be on cards. I mean, you know what, don't hold me to it. Maybe it goes to 150 tomorrow. Who knows? You could have a 10% move, right? The only reason being, everyone's expecting a 5% move, and it's given you a 5% move already. Maybe a lot of people will, some of them will come and profit take, some of them will come in saying, you know what, maybe this is the safest trade in town, right? Because everyone's still buying chips. Everyone's still doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing in terms of, as sovereign nations, as larger companies. Oracle's buying 40 billion, Tesla's buying, XAI is buying. God alone knows, every mom and pop will also start buying Nvidia chips because everyone's just holding on to it, right? It's like Nike sneakers at this point of time, just priced at 1,000 times more. Anyways, coming back to more serious stuff, 150 possible, Jason, absolutely possible. Next week, not sure. Maybe 3 weeks. Give it 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah. If you start seeing Nvidia pushing the market up, you're going to start seeing a lot more people, as well as retail, coming into the market and buying in to the Nvidia trade. You're looking at, I mean, right now, like, look at it. We had a 100-point down on the Nasdaq. We were down to about 21,318. The Nasdaq's at 21,678. So that's a 250, 300, almost a 370-point jump on the Nasdaq. That's not just Nvidia. There's some amount of more news that's currently playing out, but it's more than likely that if Nvidia did tank and was down 5%, you wouldn't be seeing a green day tomorrow, right? If you want me to give you my most bullish forecast, 150 possibly next week, possibly, right? But would I make that trade if I were in your place? Nah, I would buy myself some more time. You will have some form of an IV crush, but the IV crush that's going to happen, which is the implied volatility crush, because what happens is, as earnings come out, the event is over, so you're going to start seeing prices come in lower in terms of IV crush. But in the grand scheme of things, I would truly believe that Nvidia could see all-time highs, right? If you start heading towards the 150, Jason, you're going to start looking at maybe, I think the high that we're seeing is about 153 all-time highs, right? 153.13. Maybe, right? I mean, you take out 149, 153 is coming. And if you take out 153, it's blue skies, right? Anything. Right there, just like those blue skies. It's just going to fly through the roof. Again, something to keep in mind. It's not, you would need a a sizable move on Nvidia to move the entire market higher towards new highs. But guess what, right? We've been saying this for a while, and Jason, you'll agree, right? We're 4.4% away from an all-time high. Where on the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is more than likely to open a percent higher tomorrow. So you're about 3% away. You really see 3% not being able to be achieved in a few weeks or next month. And if that's possible, you're seeing new highs, right? Would that take Nvidia to new highs? Absolutely down, right? Absolutely sure. Yes, I'm just getting some breaking news in right now saying that the court strikes Trump's tariffs lower. He's not able to put in the tariffs, is what the courts are saying. Let's just go over that. Jason, I'm just going to come back to your question. Give me a second. I just want to go through what this whole news is because I don't want to be left hanging. Because you don't want to be in a situation where, because this, if this was really that bearish, markets in futures would have at least countered, right? So the U.S. trade court decides, but I think the president can overturn that. I'm not really sure. Right? Federal Trade Court ruled President Trump does not have the authority to impose. The decision on Wednesday from the Court of International Trade blocked one of the Trump administration's most. Okay, so it is blocked. Keep that in mind. The court does not read IEEPA to confer such unbound authority and set aside the challenge that's imposed thereunder. So that's bullish, man. That's bullish. I mean, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to understand news to that much of an extent as to being a trade administrator. But yeah, let me get to Jason's next question. I'm just worried that this does not lose the gas on market open. Everything is ripping so much after us. Just when it comes to market open, they lose control. Possibly, Jason. I mean, it could be. It could be the case. But also keep in mind that Jensen would come on CNBC and Bloomberg, and he's not going to talk bearish or slow down his rhetoric. So that could be a reason as well. I am still of the belief, Jason, I would agree with you that you could see some form of a pullback. But you know what? I'm also more certain that a lot of people have stayed away from these markets at this moment. They've been staying in cash. They've not invested. A lot of them would come back in. A lot of them would buy in. And especially because Nvidia is the bellwether of this economy in terms of AI and the next growth engine. If these guys are able to perform at that level, a lot of money starts coming back in, right? So that's something to keep in mind because you are going to start seeing a lot of money being poured in. A lot of stocks, like I can see a lot of stocks at this moment up 3%. So I completely agree with you. You could have a market open that heads lower. You could have maybe Trump coming out and tweeting saying that, hey, you know what, the US federal court that's been saying all of this, I don't trust them, I don't believe them, whatever he wants to say. I'm not sure what he says, but could be, he could. And that could affect the market, right? But in the grander scheme of things, this news is highly bullish on both sides, not just Nvidia, including the events that you're currently seeing when it comes to all of these trade court settlement deals that are currently saying that he's not going to be able to put on those tariffs and he's not going to be able to impose those. Keep in mind, guys, if that happens, a lot of this uncertainty is out of the window, but there could be a lot of uncertainty as to what Trump does next, right? So that's something to look into as well. Let me just go back to the NVIDIA thing and figure some of those things out, right? I wanted to know whether they spoke about Blackwell when it comes to yeah, so this is one of their data center points. As announced that NVIDIA is building factories in the US and working with its partners to produce NVIDIA AI supercomputers in the US. That being said, that's going to be a huge one because that's ticking the box for the big man. Announced partnership with Humane to build AI factories in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to drive the next wave of artificial intelligence development. So the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Nvidia, yes, they did sign a big deal out there. Unveiled Stargate UAE, a next generation AI infrastructure cluster in Abu Dhabi, alongside strategic partners G42, OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, and Cisco. You don't get bigger than that, right? Revealed plans to work with Foxconn and the Taiwan government to build an AI factory supercomputer. So he's planting seeds for the next 15 to 20 years. The question is, Do you want to be worried for the next 6 months, or do you want to be worried for the next few weeks? But in all honesty, this company is growing at a scale that is unimaginable. So just keep that in mind, guys. I mean, I'm not here to call doomsday or to say that everything's great. I'm just here to give you the take that I have for what it's worth. And to some extent, the only thing that I've realized is don't just buy into shit that's told to you at all times. Look at it from a little bit more holistic view and understand a few things. That's what we're trying to do on this channel as well. So I come in here at 7:30 every evening and pretty much come here and harp upon the same fact that all the news out there, all this data analysis that people are doing, a lot of it has zero correlation to you making money, right? Don't just don't just go swinging away based on, oh, this is bullish, that's bearish, this is bullish, right? It's not that easy. Figure a few things out, study things from a further perspective, and then trade or invest based on whatever is your risk appetite. Let me get Jason's next question. I don't know, call it an age, but this feels like a rug pull. What is the market's sixth week green? Since that 5100 disaster last month, they might use Nvidia to tease all-time highs. Just possibly, man. Jason, you're absolutely right. It could happen. I don't want to be the one telling you that it couldn't happen or it could happen, because trust me, my best guess is as good as yours when it comes to telling you what might happen in the next few weeks. What I can tell you though is whatever anecdotal data or whatever that I have seen is that when we dropped down to 4,800 on the S&P, it was such a bad fall that everybody, to a large extent, was a seller, right? It was just ridiculous, the fall that was happening. And the recovery that happened, a lot of the people that stayed out, other than retail bought in a lot, right? But institutions stayed out completely. So keep in mind, when institutions, hedge funds, all of these guys stay out completely, they don't like being wrong. So, and they were proved wrong. So they're going to come back in to buy, and they have no choice but to buy, right? Because the administration and the big man have changed the way they're working and stopped calling the end of the world, especially when it comes to the stock market. So can this be a rug pull or a pullback back down to maybe 5,700, 5,650, 5,800 eventually in a few weeks to come? And I think it could, and it will be very healthy, right? If you can get back, if you can go towards all-time high 6,000, come back to 56, 5,700, and then hit back at all-time highs all over again, you're building a base with new money coming in, and that's going to cause more people to come in and buy stocks. That's a good scenario to happen if you have a time frame that's over a year or 2 years. If you have a time frame that is, let's say, more in line of a few months, if you start seeing these kind of moves that head towards all-time highs or closer, maybe take some risk off, right? You always want to go to sleep knowing that you have taken some chips off the table, right? Keep that in mind. Sell as much so that you don't question your next market analysis or your next prediction on the market. You don't want to be in a scenario where you're worried every night, am I going to be making money next week or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later? If that's the case, bring your risk lower, right? So just make sure that you're within that parameters of risk appetite for yourself. Don't overtrade. Simple example. And you know how to realize if you're overtrading? If you overthink your positions, you're overtrading. That's what I've learned. The only time you don't overthink your positions is when you are not in a position where you're worried about saying, if this works out, only then will I make money, and I need that money and all of that, right? Reduce your risk a bit. And if you're in a profit, right, this is how I look at a few things. I try getting about 20 to 25% a year. That's what I aim for. If what I want in a year I can get in a few months, I'm not necessarily selling my whole book and saying, oh, I got 25 for a year, I'll play next year. No, I start selling some positions to start securing maybe 5% of that 25%. And on any correction, I would then put that money back in, right? Because now it gives me the odds of trying to head higher. this is all a bull market theory, and I always live under the impression, as well as I do believe, that we are in a bull market. It is a secular bull market, and we did have a 19% correction, right? It's not rocket science to believe that we didn't have a bull market as well as a bear market. It did happen, right? 19%. The way I look at bear markets is not whether we're 20% down. I look at it in terms of, did people get shit scared and sell, right? Plain and simple, right? August 5th of last year, when you had the yen carry trade crisis, I don't think that's even close to a bear market ever, even though it was not 20%, even in sentiment, because it was so quick. COVID, for sure. 2022, 100%. A lot of people forget about it, but 2022, gruesome bear market. So that being said, bull markets can surprise you. These kind of moves, right, to all-time highs and higher. Jason, you know what? Maybe even this thing goes all the way to 6,500 before it has a pullback. Who knows, right? So don't worry about where the market's going. Worry about your risk appetite. If you think this is too much risk for you on the table, take some chips off, right? Go have a great dinner with family, spend it on a car, spend it on a house, do whatever you want to, spend it on things that you like, right? And enjoy a bit of that profit, man. I mean, play that game. It's a lot simpler that way, right? Thanks for those questions, Jason. I really like the way you think, though. Go ahead with any more that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and see some of this Nvidia stuff that's been going on. And I think the news that's currently taking over is not Nvidia, but more of this, the trade court that's basically decided to tell Trump, saying that he can't put these tariffs, and they've overturned his tariffs. I'm not sure if any of that holds and what happens exactly. We'll see as it goes. It's not something to lose sleep over, so why worry today? And something that we've been saying on this channel as well, right? So for everyone new that's on this channel and that's on this live, go ahead, subscribe. We do this almost every day at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So you guys can pretty much enjoy some amount of market roasting as well as some amount of breakdown in the way we think. We do a few videos as well, per week or every fortnight. And you can go ahead and see those videos as well. Sometimes it's about a stock. Mostly it's about geopolitics or markets in general and why people have it a bit mismatched. So go ahead, do what's needed. Go ahead and also comment. And we got 5 votes already. So I'm going to keep trying to see if we can go about 10, right? I'll try keeping this short or maybe longer. It depends on the interaction. But as long as it's fun, we're going to keep doing this, right? I mean, if I can keep getting questions like the way Jason asks questions, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's just something to go ahead with. So comment and go ahead and also vote, because I like that. I like looking at the end of the poll as to how many people. And I'll say out of five votes, we got already 4 that say Nvidia should be up 10%. From what I do know, they're up only about 5. If you guys have any of that pre-market data on Robinhood, just let me know what you're seeing at this moment. I see about a 4.87, but after hours are closed. So that's that. Yeah, so let me just see this new ass story that's been currently going on with trade court strikes down Trump's Liberation Day tariffs, right? Okay. Paramount has offered $15 million to settle CBS lawsuit. Trump wants more. Okay, great. That's nice. Who doesn't want more? Like, I mean, even if I was in their place, I would have wanted more. Yeah. So also keep in mind, right? I mean, these things might help you guys sometimes. If you want to ever check the risk on, risk off appetite, which is basically how much risk is in the books and how much risk is on the market. When equity markets start going up, if you start seeing gold going lower and the dollar yen, the USD JPY heading higher, you start seeing the dollar basically powering up and the yen collapsing, because yen as a situation is a safety currency. So if you start seeing USD JPY heading higher and breaking the 150, it's got a direct correlation to how the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 perform. So, I mean, Jason, if you're still here, just go ahead, just draw a comparative chart for yourself on the USD JPY, and for everyone that's out here as well, the USD JPY and the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, whatever index you like. Maybe not the Dow. I don't look at the Dow that much. But look at it. I mean, it's something that will open your mind to, okay, there are things that are not just within equity markets that move, but forex, commodities, all of that. When you put it together, you're able to analyze things a lot better. All right, we had the S&P down 0.5, you had the Russell down 1, you have the US 10-year yield at about 4.4. So that is something that I'm looking at, right? I don't want to know where the S&P 500 will be a year or 2 years from now. What I want to know is where the 10-year bond yield will be. If you can tell me the 10-year bond yield will be closer to 4%, I'm telling you we're in a larger bull market than we can imagine. If the 10-year bond yield is heading towards 5 and higher, I don't know if these Trump tariffs even matter at that moment, because then you're just going to see maybe even us touching new lows back again to 4,800, because the bond yield decides a lot more than what we believe markets do care about. It is, a lot of it is discounting the 10-year bond yield, right? The 10-year bond yield has a large effect onto reinsurance, onto a lot of your mortgage applications, homes selling, construction. So it's a huge bellwether for the economy. So the 10-year bond yield can basically decide what it wants to do. He was able to make Trump pivot from his tariffs as well. So keep that in mind. If there's someone more powerful at this moment, it is the 10-year bond yield. Yeah, that being said, we're looking at about a 21,681. So I think we should be looking at somewhere around a 350-point move on the NASDAQ tomorrow morning. So that's a pretty healthy move, very healthy move, all right? And you should also be seeing a pretty good move on Nvidia as well. But yeah, I still think we might see a 6-7% move on Nvidia, or maybe higher. I mean, maybe even an 8 or a 9% move intraday. That could be pretty good. Like you would see maybe a 144, 145, Jason, and then that would be fascinating to see what happens post that 144, 145. Do we power up to 150 or do? Anyways, how many of you guys have been long Nvidia or short Nvidia? Drop in the comments. Put in some of that stuff. Go ahead and subscribe as well. I'm trying to get to maybe what, 85. We're at 85 subscribers. Let's try seeing if we can get to 100. That's going to be my first one. It's going to be fun though. I love doing this, so this is pretty fascinating for me. I'm kind of sitting in a new place, so if you guys want to see around, I'll show it to you. Yeah, I'm still getting my local Starbucks, but I'm not sure if you guys. It's kind of a nice place. Early morning, hardly anyone to come in and trouble me. You might hear a few cars and something here and there, so forgive me for that, but nothing too great at this moment. And it's nice weather as well, so no harm in sitting outside today. I usually sit inside and work, but let's give it a shot today. Hey, Big Boss, nice to see you joining in again. That's nice. They say they invest like 3.8% in defense of GDP. Who's the they, bro? You just let me know who's the they, right? Okay. Jason's got a question. Let me just get the smaller one. Flaminian says, show us your hands. Buddy, it's diamond hands. That's what it is. I heard a whale dropping 1 million for $140 Nvidia puts today, but I'm just wondering how his account might look like at market open. Buddy, trust me, 1 million is pocket change when it comes to Nvidia trading, right? That's not a whale. That could just be a hedge on a book. You could have hedge funds that buy in a $1 billion put position, and they could be long on equity. So that's just hedging. They're okay to lose a million if they're going to be making 10 on their equity position. So I would do the same. So trust me, don't look at that whale numbers from that much of an extent. The only time you should look at whale figures is if it's over the top, like it's way larger than what's normally been seen. And considering that you had earnings releases, it's just par for the course. So it's not too much, right? Let's go see. What's the next one? Also said they're going to invest $1 trillion in weapon industry USA, but the GDP is, how is that 3.8% of GDP? Yeah, so that's basically a way where you look at, so remember that every country, like even America, you get taxes, right? What do you do with those taxes? Most of us spend it as countries on defense, helping people, whatever the hell they've got, right? I mean, the GDP is 36 trillion. Nah, the GDP is about, I would say, I think it's about 37, 38 or maybe higher. But yeah, 3-4% of that would be about $1 trillion in defense spending. That's not too much. Remember also that when Trump did go down to the Middle East, there's a lot of arms and ammunition that's being sold there. There's a lot of buying that happens there. He's also trying to build the Golden Dome, right? All of that's going to require a lot of defense spending. So as a country, we will have to spend a lot more. So, and I mean, I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong. I mean, I'm too small a fry to do that, but they're going to spend it, man. And if they're spending it, it's okay. I mean, it's all cool, all right? They make a lot of money in other ways as well. So remember, a lot of today's a lot of weapon companies. Look at Anduril. Look at all of these companies, right? Even Palantir, to a large extent, maybe not a weapons player, but a software player. These valuations that you've been getting now is ridiculous. But at the same time, if America was not spending so much on their defense, you wouldn't have companies like Palantir, Anduril, all of these guys coming out, right? If you can save some of your soldiers by sending in unmanned aerial vehicle drones or sending in any form of military equipment that does not make sure that one of your soldiers dies or doesn't have a family to go back to because the family is waiting for him, I mean, yeah, any money is well spent then. Keep that in mind, guys. And that's something to just shortly keep in mind, right? Go ahead and vote for this. Let's see what the votes are at. That's something that I want to check as well. I kind of like more votes than subs at the moment. Yeah, we got 6 votes and 67% still say that Nvidia is going to rip higher. It's going to be pretty fascinating to see what actually happens here. I'm looking forward to this open, man, guys. This one's going to be a lot of fun, right? Just, it's just my kind of thing, man. That's the reason I do this. It's like, it's just a lot of fun for me. And I think I'm going to keep doing this all my life, man. Elon just tweeted saying, as my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce waste. Still spending, the Doge mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government. You know what that means? Tesla's going to continue going higher. That's the game of town, bro. I mean, that's just the way things work now. If he stops spending time at the White House and he's saying it comes to an end, what do you think he's going to do with his time now, right? You could actually see a reversal on the Uber Tesla move, right? You can actually see that Uber started doing very well once Elon left his companies or kept them on the sidebar and moved into the White House to fix everything with Doge. And now that he's come back to the companies, I think you might see a reversal in Uber. That's something to keep in mind of. A lot of you guys that are trading out there, look at that. I think maybe a $93 or $100 Uber might be tough to come by. You might see it back down to 75. It's something to keep in mind, right? It has a correlation out there, especially with what I read overnight that Elon's trying to put out, or they have a car that's already testing in Austin, driverless, and he's going to start working pretty much 24/7 on these kind of things. So fascinating times, guys. Look at all of these things, and that's what we're trying to do with this channel. Look at all of these things from a holistic side. Look at it from an angle where you are getting a lot of the information that's coming in and how is it going to affect stocks, how is it going to affect your portfolio. That's more important at this given moment, right? We're still heading higher, man. We're pretty much 2.5% away from an all-time high on the Nasdaq at this moment. 21,700 almost on the Nasdaq. Well, barely maybe 544 points away, 544 points away and counting, right? Now, what I want is us to get to 100 subscribers before we hit that number. So do your bit, guys. And keep putting in questions, all right? I love this when these questions keep coming in. It's just fun. Yeah. You can goonier all you want, Matthew. Nice to see you in. All the time, bro. It's all chill. Let me get the question. Yeah, you're right about Palantir, but seeing what they're doing in Gaza, it's quite sick to invest in those companies. Buddy, trust me. One thing I've learned in the stock market, and you need integrity in all forms of life. If you believe that it's something that's not right, don't invest. Here's the backdrop. You have more than 2,000 companies to choose from. You don't need to go to every party in order to have fun, right? Just go buy something else. Have fun, right? And for all those that buy Palantir, and if you're just out there to make money, it's okay, right? It's a capitalistic world as well. So some people want to buy it, some people don't want to buy it. I mean, it's all cool. I mean, do I own it? No. But do I think what they do as a software is incredible? Absolutely, 200%. And do I have views about what happens with that software and what doesn't happen? I mean, that's not for me to say anything, because that's for each person, right? If it fits your book to say, what's happening in Gaza and I don't like what's happening there, don't invest. If you don't care and you're okay about it and you want to invest, go ahead and invest. You want to make money, do what you have to, man. I'm all game for it, right? I mean, I don't judge people based on how they invest. What I look at is how did you make your returns, right? If you make your returns ethically and you're able to beat market returns, that's all that, for me as a person, that's all that matters when it comes to these kind of things. Because as a holistic concept, and you know what, a lot of people might not agree with me, but as a holistic concept, what I want is a few things: a better life, a better family life, good sleep at night, and some good coffee, right? That's in all honesty, man. I mean, but you know what, big boss, you're right about it. If it's not something you're interested in, don't, man. You got so many bloody goddamn stocks to invest in, right? You don't need Palantir. Like, go look at this one company called Affirm, right? I just made a video about it and I put it up. They're a buy now pay later company. Maybe make money on the fact that people want to split their burritos. Maybe make money on the fact that people want to split $100 sneakers. Yeah, the aim is to make money, right? That's why we're here. Matthew says, I love capitalism. Absolutely, bro. We're on the same page. We're in the same club at the same time and having fun together. So that's what it is. Capitalism all the way. Right? Matthew, go ahead. Come on. You said you're going to goon around here, so I want to see what's happening. So Elon's pretty much hanged up his boots. So that's going to be fun. Matthew, go ahead and also drop in a vote. I want to see what's going to happen with the poll. Do that for me, please. Go ahead and subscribe as well if you haven't already. Let's see, 6 votes, 67%. Let me see exactly. I know you can make money on Lockheed Martin shit, but I don't want blood on my hands. Cool, bruh. Don't. I'm telling you. Look for buy now, pay later companies, man. They're going to do pretty well. They're the future when it comes to investing. I genuinely do believe that credit cards are going to go out of business. So let's get ourselves a little bit away from the weapons and more towards payments. Like, when I look at things, I look at consumer technology as the next phase of the future. And to a large extent, you're going to be seeing that happen. And you know what? Don't want to invest in weapons? Don't invest in weapons. I don't even remember the last time I invested in a weapons company. So screw it, right? Just go ahead and buy something nice. All right. Let me see what else. Yeah, we actually already do simply by paying taxes. Trust me, man. I know. But that's not in my control, right? Yeah, man. Two things that's not in our control: death and taxes. So, and if it's not in our control, there's no point spending time thinking about it. Think of making more money, right? That's more important. Because I usually ask, a lot of people tell me that, oh my God, you got to pay so much taxes, 40%, this, that, this, that. I'm like, yeah. But if I gave you a choice today to make $1 million and pay 25%, or make 100 million and pay 40%, I'm guessing a lot of people would still choose 100 million and pay higher taxes of 40%. You know why? Because they still get to keep 60 million. So I'm not sure if that answers a lot of questions when it comes to taxes, but keep that in mind, guys. Do I know about QuantumScape? I've heard about it. Uh, let me be honest with you. It's a lot beyond my intellectual capabilities to get into quantum computing. I'm going to skip that party. It's beyond my circle of competence. And maybe it'll do phenomenally well, right? I do remember what was it, Rigetti Computing, that went crazy. Let me actually check QuantumScape as a stock and what happened to it. QuantumScape. Damn, 8.2%. Oh yeah, wasn't this the story about the guy that was going to be paid the highest in America for as a salary or bonus or something like that? I remember reading this. Let me actually see. Was it this guy called? Yeah, Meet Jagdeep Singh, the world's highest paid employee, earning an outstanding, I don't know, about like $2 billion US as a salary, or 48. I'm like, what the hell on earth is this? What does he do? Make diamonds for the price of peanuts? I don't know. Anyways, bro, in all honesty, let me cut to the chase. I'm not really sure about this. I've not studied it, so I don't want to give you an opinion which is flawed for sure, because I know nothing. Yeah, I think that's when I even read about it, when he got the contract from Volkswagen. And then I was just reading up about something, and it said that he's the world's highest paid employee, something like that. One thing I'll tell you, bro, I don't know nothing about the company, so don't hold me to any of that. But look at incentives. Look for situations where companies have to, Charlie Munger says this, right? If you're able to tell me what someone gains from something, I can tell you whether that's a good stock or not, right? I'm paraphrasing though. So just keep that in mind. That's something to just hone in on and think about it. Look for what the guy is getting, not what he's getting paid as a salary, what's he getting paid in stock ops, what's he getting paid. Because if he's making $2 billion, how big is the goddamn company? What is it? What? The market cap's like 2.41 billion. I don't know, man. I generally don't know. I'm just going to, it's like beyond me to understand this, but I'm going to spend some time and maybe understand it. Maybe next time when we're live, or maybe a week later, let me try see if I can get something out there. No worries, it was me sharing what I think is going to boom. Dude, absolutely. That's the point of this, right? Like Matthew said, we love capitalism, right? So we're here to make money, bro. Go ahead, give me all of those stocks, right? I didn't really know about this, and neither was I going to study about this next week. But maybe because you brought it up, I'm going to study it, right? We're here to make money, man. If a $4 stock can go to 40, what's wrong? Yeah, we got a guy saying hello, hello, hello. So, hello, Famin. How's it going? What's happening with you? Have you been long Nvidia? If you're not, or you are, go ahead, put in the poll. We got 7 votes, and it says 71% of them say that Nvidia is going to rip 10% higher. Okay, that's going to be fun. For me, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, and also go ahead and hit that poll, because that's kind of important. That's actually more important than everything. I really like these polls. It's a lot more fun. Let me just try seeing if we got some more news. We had some stuff about so Elon's saying that he's going to stop being a special government employee. I'm not sure if that has any relation to him going against the bill and all of that, but I'm guessing that's just him realizing that he has more to kill when it comes to at Tesla as well as at SpaceX as well as at XAI and all the other companies. So he's trying to see if he can make some. I mean, I honestly did believe that it's just anyways going to be a short-term thing for him and then eventually come back and I would eventually be exceedingly. You got to think a bit ahead, right? I mean, you got to think about it. 6 to 9 months back, you would be 6 months back or whatever, 4 months back, you would be like, it seems like a scenario where he is going to be at the White House for longer than you could imagine. If you had a thought process saying that, okay, this is not going to happen and he's not going to be in the White House for that long, it was a good time to buy sub $250. Today it's at like 330 yesterday or day before yesterday, I remember. What are we at right now? Let's see. Yeah, 356. Stocks after hours up 364. So, 6 months back or 3 months back, you saw it at 222. $222 all the way up to $356. I mean, don't think that's bad return at all. I mean, phenomenal, right? Yep. Anyway, so we had great earnings from Nvidia. I think they banged it out of the park for sure. I'm going to try seeing if in the afternoon or somewhere around maybe late night, if I do another live when I'm just going through a few of my things. I'm going to try muting myself and get my work done, but you guys can just join in with questions, and whenever you do have something, I'll just drop in and answer them. That's kind of more fun for me, and I'll just be doing my work, which is just breaking down companies, researching about them. If I find something crazy and fun, I'll drop in chats and do some of that. Let's go over some of the news, right? We usually do that during the morning, but today has been like Nvidia has taken over the news, so let's just try seeing if we can find some more shit going around in this world. Let me see what's happening. President Trump doesn't have the authority to impose sweeping tariffs. Federal court, cool. I'm not sure how much of that's going to stick, like I've been saying, but let's see. What else has been happening? All right. US pauses exports of jet engine technology and chip software to China. I think there's something about student visas that also came up for China. Something they've been revoked for students, Chinese students. Cool. Let's also go ahead and yeah, so on an average, this is another thing that I wanted to tell you guys. On an average, bull markets, they last for about 67 months, which is about 5 years, and a little change of a few months here and there. On an average, you're also looking at somewhere around 5 years, and the bear markets usually stay for about 9 months to a year at max, or 2 years maximum. Bull markets last longer than all of us think, which is something coming back to what Jason and me were talking about earlier, right? Which is could be a rug pull in the short term, but long term we're both bullish, right? And I'm pretty sure Jason agrees with that as well. The current bull market that you're seeing since the bear market of 2022 has just been about 30. What are we? We're in May, right? 31 months. So keep that in mind, guys. You've still got maybe a few more years to go before we can even get to the average or closer to the average. It's not like we're getting there now, but we could get there. So let's see. That should be fun, though. You know what? A lot of people would be caught off guard if we just head towards new highs and higher into a bull market. Because I don't know how many people are going to be talking about the word bear market when we are going to be at 6,200 on the S&P 500. Just saying, guys. Just saying. I'm bullish as hell, but I want to play this game longer than most people want to, so I know when to pull some of my risk out. So, and I don't pull risk out based on what I believe the markets are doing. I pull risk out if I can't sleep well at night. That's how I decide whether my risk is more. At the end of the day, all my profits and all my losses are for mine to bear. So I don't really go too much into the situation as to are the markets oversold, are the markets overbought. It all depends on how I'm feeling. That's all. All right. And when you start thinking of things in those ways, you can keep all of the noise away. You can keep the signal within you that is there, and which is what I'm trying to convey from this channel, which is basically this whole concept that, hey guys, you don't need to get so worried about things that happen in this world. Look at things from your perspective, understand things from your perspective, and then take things forward. Okay. Well, let me actually go and see if we have 21,700 just got hit on the NASDAQ. So I don't know, man. All-time highs could be pretty much 2.5% away now, less than 2.5%, 2.49%. All right. And we're still at 86 subscribers. We got to hit that 100, man, before we hit new highs. How am I supposed to be doing that? You guys need to be subscribing. All right. Do your bit, guys. This is going to be fun. Okay, let's go see if we have more news. And go ahead and put in your polls, as well as go ahead and subscribe and do your stuff. So then I'm going to be going in. Okay, let's say what Secretary of State Marco Rubio says US will begin revoking visas of Chinese students, including those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. Okay, sounds cool. Okay. Just trying to see if there's more news that comes out. I think you guys can follow me on Instagram as well. I'm on Instagram as well. So just search for Signal and Sentiment out there and go ahead and follow out there as well. I put in a few reels out there as well, the same ones that I put out on the short. So follow me both places or follow me wherever you want to. I mean, I'm okay, guys. It's all chill. It's all part of the game. Okay. Let's see what else is happening. Elf Beauty is buying Hailey Bieber's road brand for $1 billion. Okay, cool. Maybe that's what we're going to start doing. Maybe build a beauty brand, man. Okay, let's see. Oh, some crazy shit happened, right? Elon Musk comments on the Telegram deal that says going to come through, right? Big Boss, just give me a second. Let me just get over this, and then I'm going to go ahead and check in with your question. This summer, Telegram users will gain access to the best AI technology on the market. Elon Musk and I have agreed to a one-year partnership to bring Grok to our billion-plus users and integrate it across all Telegram apps. Okay, cool. And Elon just came out and said, no deal signed. Great. All right, I love that. I love when it's that way. I think my goddamn night shift is on. Yeah, okay. There you go. Now I can see myself. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Anyways, yeah, let me just get this question. Do you see the bill passed which will invest a lot of money in ICE and private prisons? I do believe that. I'm not sure about the private prisons and ICE in terms of how that's going to affect us in the stock market. But do I think the bill will pass? Yeah. You know, one thing I'll realize, stock markets eventually do very well irrespective of what's going on in Washington. So just keep that in mind. Nvidia CEO says our goal is from chip to supercomputer built in America within a year. Right. Read between the lines, guys. That just works for him and the administration when he comes out and says something that way, right? Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang on China and export control, right? The H20 export ban ended our Hooper business in China. We can't reduce Hooper further to comply. We're writing off billions in unsellable inventory. China will move forward with or without us. The question is, whatever they run on US platforms or their own, okay, right? It has already passed. Yeah, buddy, I know that. That's true. It will help. I'm pretty sure that it will. I'm just looking forward to the scenario as to if the only thing in the bill that clears is the Trump tax cuts and all of that, it's still bullish because it just extending those tax cuts is all that matters to the stock market, right? That's something to keep in mind. Let's go over a few more things. Make sure you guys go ahead and do the poll stuff. Select what you like as an answer. I want to see what happens. Make sure you subscribe as well. Bring in your questions when it comes to Nvidia or any other stock or anything that's happening. There's a lot of nonsense happening today, like crazy stuff. Nvidia earnings banged out of the park. Stocks up about 5%. I'm not sure what it's doing in overnight markets, but it should be up higher. And you're looking at the trade court in the US that is pretty much struck down Trump's global tariffs. That's causing the market to head higher as well. So another thing to keep in mind. Let's also go ahead. Let's see what else is happening. The AI race isn't just about chips. It's about which stack the world runs on, and that includes 6G and quantum. The idea that China can't make AI chips was always shaky, and now it's clearly wrong, right? So what Jensen's saying is that China will do its own thing, we'll do our own thing, but if you allow me to sell there, I'm going to make some more money, right? And I actually do believe that this will happen. I think Trump's going to work out some deal here when they do the China deal where he's like, you know what, okay, sell some of your stuff so you can continue doing that. And maybe that's what eventually is, right? Nvidia just said the era of robotics is here. Billions of robots, hundreds of millions of autonomous vehicles, and hundreds of thousands of robotic factories and warehouses will be developed. I'm not sure how, when. Is it going to happen? 100% it is. We are in the future of robotics. It is going to happen. In my lifetime and yours, for sure, it is. Oh, so this is news that's pretty worth it, right? Because what you're looking at here is major hyperscalers. They're deploying 72,000 Blackwell GPUs per week. So the ramp up of Blackwell is supremely strong. Keep that in mind. That's a 4 million GPU annual run rate and ramping up. Sampling of the GB300 systems has already started this month. Production shipments expected later this quarter. So guys, he's killing it. Let me just be frank and clear about it. He is killing it. So, anyways. Let me actually go in and see if I can find something more. Let's see. So the advanced decline line is also looking pretty good. That's something that I also look at to try seeing how much of this market is currently being there. Hi, Henry. Nice to see you again. I think you got the answer last time. You were pretty close. It was something with the S, but yeah, fair enough. I like the fact that you don't lose hope, man. I'm with you. Never give up, bro. Never give up. Nvidia CFO says Microsoft has already deployed tens of thousands of Blackwell GPUs and is expected to ramp hundreds of thousands of GB2000s with OpenAI as one of its key customers. Fabulous. Dude, I honestly do believe that you guys are right about this Nvidia thing. Maybe it has a 10% move. Quite likely. If you can see a 2.5%, 2.5% move on the NASDAQ, I have a feeling this could be a 10% move on it could take a lot of people by storm. The fact that Nvidia could go up 10% because everyone's expecting a 4-5% move. But usually what everybody expects is not what happens. It could either be overly bullish or bearish. I think the bearish thing has been thrown out. So that's not happening now. Because Nvidia earning results are still surprising the street. And that's pretty much something to keep in mind, right? Okay, let's look at a few things. Victoria's Secret employees told to avoid company technology. What? Victoria's Secret CEO says recovery is going to take a while. Victoria's Secret has stopped some office operations. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's do like a small snapshot. Let me just see if there's anything fascinating that happened here. Right. Let's just try seeing if there's something, right? The outlook looks for Nvidia at 45 billion. It was estimated at 45.5. You know what? They're going to say 45. They're going to make 46. And outlook already reflects an 8 billion H20 revenue impact. So all said and done, they're still going to be making more money there. Data center revenue, great. Automotive revenue, phenomenal. That's the one that's there, right? The automotive revenue. That's the important one. Keep that in mind, guys. Jensen Wang says our breakthrough Blackwell technology, a thinking machine designed for reasoning, is now in full-scale production. So that's another thing. Okay, let me just go ahead and see, because now I'm going to go ahead and do some of my stuff that's there to finish. I got to go and finish a few things. So fabulous to get you guys. We got 9 votes. Let me just end the poll. Let's see what's happening. I should come in and maybe do a live in a few hours or maybe later. Let's see. So as of now, the stock is ripping higher. At least 66% of the people do believe that it is going to head higher. So that's going to be fun. And so the poll's complete. 66% believe Nvidia stock's going to rip 10% higher. 33% believe it's going to head lower. I'm not sure about the lower thing. I'm in the 10% camp. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but let's see. This should be fun though. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We're going to do this again tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And maybe in a few hours, I'll just send a link, and all of you guys that are subscribed, join. We can have a chat. Sounds fun. Take care, guys. Enjoy. Have a good one. Love on night. I'm just heading out, guys. Join in for the next one. Okay. Go ahead, hit subscribe so you get the message when I come in next. Okay. Take care. Cheers. Love on night _44. Sorry, man. Sorry. I just got to go do some shit. Okay. I hope you understand. Subscribe. Hit that notification so you get my message when I come in next. Right. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. You too. Have a great night, buddy. Take care.